Welcome to this special edition of the Fabrice and Junelle Show. Today's show is different. You may be asking yourself this question. This is the Fabrice and Junelle Show. Where is Fabrice and Junelle? I will be your host for this evening, and we'll introduce the Joseph family to you in a few minutes. As you all know, about a month ago, Fabrice has been diagnosed with a horrible illness. He's been diagnosed with cancer, and it's at a stage 4. We all have shared our tears and also share our concern and compassion towards the family. And today we want to give you an opportunity to see them, for them to speak to you and express themselves and let you know exactly what they're going through. This is going to be a very emotional show, and I'm praying that I can go through this show without sharing the tears. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you Fabrice and Junelle. Welcome to Fabrice and Junelle Show.
Thank you, man. Thank you for doing this.
How are you doing?
Hanging in there. He's here in pain, but...
You know, I was very touched that you decided to come on the show this evening. And I know you're not feeling too well, and it takes a lot of strength and courage and character to be here. And this is some of the characteristics that I see in you that pushes me to appreciate you more and the work that you're doing. Tell us, what is it that pushes you to be here this evening?
Well, one of the main reasons why we're here is because, you know, everybody, you know, you do what you know best. People know me as somebody who's always in front of camera. Even when I found out that I was sick while I was in the hospital bed, I was on Facebook, you know saying what's happening, you know, and I was putting myself out there. And I figured people would ask me questions about my illness, and because I can't really talk on the phone much, and I said, you know what, no matter what happened, I'm going to sit here for a few minutes and to tape this and let people know where we are and what's happening, and then hopefully, you know, the questions will stop, and well, probably less questions will be asked, because I'm hoping that everyone will know by then, you know, where we are, what's going on. Yeah.
Now, how did we come to this point? Was this something that was there months, a year? How did you just suddenly find out that you were diagnosed with cancer?
He was in pain for the last couple of months. I took him to the hospital twice in 1 week. And when I got there, you know, those doctors, sometimes they touch you here, they touch you there. They said it's just a little pain, maybe like food poisoning and things like that. So they give him some painkillers, and we went back home. And this second time I went there, he was in pain, and I took him to the emergency. They did some some ultrasound, I don't remember what it was, and they said that it was kidney stone.
Yeah.
And I give him, you know, as a lot of Haitian people know, I don't know if everybody knows that, coconut juice, it help you with
Past stone.
With kidney stone. And they give him some painkillers, they give him some stuff to pass the stone. And the pain never stopped. As a wife, I was going through so much. Yes. And the third time I took him to the hospital, he was on the floor. When I know my husband is a very strong guy. When you know your husband is very strong and rolling on the floor crying with the pain, well, I said, I went back to the hospital. I said, you know what? I'm a very nice lady, and I'm a Christian. I learned that don't make a Christian, don't push them to the edge. You see their Christian side. And that day, they did see my Christian side. I went back to the hospital. I said, you know what? What pisses me off the most is because you were treating him, you told him that he has kidney stone, and he wasn't kidney stone. And I received a bill for $1,000 for nothing. The third time I said, the nurses were so scared of me. I did not care. I said, you know what? Today, I am not going home with my husband until I know what's going on inside of him. You have machine. You need to do all the tests that you have to do, not the one that you did before. Touch. You're gonna do something different, because I'm not going home until I know what's going on inside of him. And I put my foot down that day. And they said, when the doctor come to the room, or I yelled at him, I said, I'm not going home until I know what's going on with him. I said, I know my husband is a strong guy. Something is going on. And they did a CT scan, ultrasound.
So if I understand this correctly, you've been to the hospital several times prior.
Yes.
And
yes.
they have found nothing.
Yeah,
And they give him painkillers,
Yes.
thinking this is a natural thing, kidney stone, and all these diagnoses was false diagnosis.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
finally they diagnosed
Yes.
with the cancer.
Here's my biggest problem with this is the fact that, every year or 6 months, I've never missed an appointment. I'm always, on time with all my checks-up and things like that. So, to find a cancer that is at this stage, and not only that, it's spread multiple places. What happened? Because cancer does not go from stage 1 to 4 overnight.
like that.
It
Correct.
takes time. And my biggest problem is even when I was in Boston, I was always, regular on all my checkup, nothing, and I've done so many tests before, CT scans, I've done so many things before when I have stomach pain, nothing ever reveals anything. And then suddenly, boom, oops, sorry, cancer, and when I was told it was cancer, I was thinking, okay, a few things comes in mind. I'm like, okay, so I just moved to Atlanta. I was moved for my job. In January, I got laid off. That didn't scare me much because I'm like, I always find jobs. It's okay.
Right.
And then, I told my wife, you know what, I got laid off today, so it's okay. Don't worry, it'll pass. I'll find a job very easy. She said, I know. And then now I'm in the hospital. They said, oh, you have cancer. Now I'm thinking, how am I gonna go back in the room and tell my wife?
Right.
And when I get back to the room, she wasn't there. I'm like, okay, I can breathe now for a minute, because she went to buy some stuff, thinking when she gets back, I'll be on my way home. So when she got back, I'm like, she said, what happened? I'm like, the doctor said, he found some mass, and it's nothing major. They'll give me some stuff, and it'll pass. And I didn't know how to put it, And then she said, you know what? I don't even want to talk to you. And she called the doctor.
Yeah, because, we've been together for so long, 11 years. I know when you're lying. I said, you lying to me. He said, no, I'm not lying. I said, you know what? I understand English, and I can speak some English. Let me speak to the doctor myself. And he's like, oh, God. And I call him.
And this is the reason why we are having this show. We're not to take things lightly. A slight stomachache, and it's continual. You have to go to the doctor, get yourself tested and check it, because this headache starts somewhere. The stomachache starts somewhere, and it can develop into something big. So you have to, some of us are reluctant to go to the hospital when we have a stomachache. And I'm glad that you did. Now,
and one more, always listen to your wife. We always right. Always listen to us.
Okay.
Yeah, we always right.
I think I will do that. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's one of the things that I love and appreciate with you guys, the love that is between the two guys. And not too long ago, I watched your car, and your license plate has the picture of your wife and license plate, and I asked you that question: why would you want to have a picture of your wife on your license plate? And then your answer still on my head.
I love my wife. Yeah.
I love my wife. And that answer is still in my head. So now, how is this love and your faith helping you go through this difficult moment?
Well, I can tell you honestly, my biggest concern was still, because my pain honestly, I can't even describe the pain that I have on a daily basis. They give me painkillers. I have a bunch of stuff that I'm taking. I haven't started treatment yet, but every day I have all these things I'm taking for pain. If I don't take it, I can't do anything. I'm not functional. But my biggest problem was, okay, so my wife is a very, very strong person, but at the same time very sensitive. And you know, I'm thinking, okay, how am I gonna be in the house with 3 women? Because my mom flew in to be with us as well. We have my mom, my wife, I'm thinking, and my daughter, thinking, how am I gonna be in the house with them, watching me going through this, you know? And every day you get up, you can't do anything. You know, sometimes I can't even get off the bed because I'm like rolling here, rolling there. And my wife even like give me the whole bed, you know, she just sometimes go on the floor and sleep. You know, I'm like, come on, don't do that, because I'm like rolling around like a baby, you know. And the pain is crazy. Sometimes I can't even breathe. Sometimes I can't even breathe. You know, it's just crazy. And I was wondering like, how we're gonna go through this. And sometimes I'm trying to be strong, not to show my wife that I'm in pain.
Correct.
And because I know if she sees this, she might go nuts. And including my mother, because sometimes my mom would come to my room. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And she walked out. I'm like, you know, as soon as she walked out, I'm like, I'm going to my, and sometimes my wife walks in and I'm like, "Hey, I was going to say, I'm all right." She just stay by myself for a few minutes to see how I'm gonna react. And
Yeah, because you know I don't believe you.
and dude, it's crazy just being, you know. But thank God, because she is very strong. You know, she's dealing with all that and doing all the stuff. So I'm very, very happy I have her to go through this with me, you know.
I want to thank you guys for taking the time to be here this evening and share your personal moment, your tragedy with the community. We will pray for you. We want to express our love through actions. We have set up a trust fund. It's called the Fabrice Joseph Support Fund. And you can go to any Bank of America and just mention the trust fund, and you'll be able to make your donations there. They're not asking for it, but I take their situation as a personal challenge, to help them out. And we'll go to a break and we'll come back with the Joseph family.
Parole est une lampe à mes pieds, elle me dirige toujours dans le droit chemin, mais c'est pourquoi je suis sans crainte dans le danger, elle est toujours là pour m'enseigner, me consoler. Ta parole est vivante, lumière du monde, c'est Jésus lui-même, sans elle, tout n'est que ténèbres. Ta parole est vivante, lumière du monde, c'est Jésus lui-même, sans elle, tout n'est que ténèbres. Cette parole était là au commencement, elle était avec Dieu. Bien sûr, elle était Dieu, elle était la vie. La vie, la lumière du monde, cette lumière, lui dans les ténèbres. Oh, 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 ta parole est vivante, lumière du monde, c'est Jésus lui-même, sans elle, tout n'est que ténèbres. Ta parole est vivante, lumière du monde, c'est Jésus lui-même, sans elle, tout n'est que ténèbres. Oh, 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 oh. tu n'es que ténèbres. Oh, 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 oh.
Welcome back to this special edition of the Fabrice and Junelle Show. We have the family here with us this evening. And Junelle, I'd like to ask you this question. As a wife, watching your husband going through this difficult moment, and I understand you just celebrated the 5th birthday of your beautiful daughter.
Yeah.
And how does that make you feel? How are you coping with the situation?
It just, the only thing that I do is pray. I'm a Christian, a true believer, and I have faith. I know God did not bring us all the way down here for my husband to die in my watch. All I do is pray, pray, pray. Every time sometimes he tore up a lot. He's losing weight, and that, it hurts me.
Right.
The other day he was going to church, and his pants was too big, and he's like, "Oh God, my God, baby, do you see?" I said, "Oh God, why did he say that to me?" And my pain is my daughter. The other thing that I'm dealing with is the baby. She's spoiled. She's a spoiled little girl. Her father spoiled her. And now they used to play and read stories at night. These two, oh my God, they used to make me jealous sometimes. It's the way they used to be. And she's hurting a lot. She knows. She said, "Mommy, I miss Papi."
Wow.
I said, "Papi is here." "What do you mean? What do you mean?" She said, "No, Papi don't play with me anymore. And when I go to bed, you put me to sleep, not Papi anymore. He doesn't read any stories with me anymore at night." And she said, "I miss Papi so much, Mommy." She said, the other day she come to us. I'm only saying this because Fabrice was there. She said, "Mommy, Papi is in a lot of pain. I see his face." And I said, "Yes." She said, "Is Papi gonna die?"
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, she didn't." And I start crying. I said, "No, Papi is not gonna die." The only thing that I know God will do something. I know he will do something. And I believe in him. When I went to the hospital, they said that only the chemo, not the radiation, only the chemo pill is $8,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
I said, "God, the little pill,
$8,000.
$8,000 a
A
month."
month.
I said, "I'm not working. My husband is not working. We have a child. We don't have anything. And it's only my family and friends who's helping us." And I said, "How am I gonna pay $8,000 a month for a pill?" And I took back the application from the nurse, and I pray. I said, "God, I'm a poor lady." And I said, "You know, in your words, you said you always there for the poor people. When they pray, you listen." I said, "Here I am as a poor woman, as a poor wife, with nothing, with an application in my hand for like $8,000 a month. What am I gonna do?" I'm dealing with it in every way, economically, and my husband is the one who used to do everything. And I said, "God, I'm praying for everything. Nothing happens to me. Nothing. And now my husband is sick, can't do anything. What am I gonna do?" And it just, sometimes I cry. I spend my whole day crying, only to God, because he's the only one who can help me with this situation. I remember when I was moving down here, especially, I'm an actress, and My family doesn't like that. They said, you black, you're Haitian, and you're not gonna make it. But I believe in my dreams. One person that I follow closely is Tyler Perry. His messages every day. And sometimes I go, when he sends his messages, he just gives me some courage. He's a Christian. And I did not want to say this because I don't want people to think that I'm stupid. But when you believe in something, you make all the sacrifices. And that's why I'm crying, because my husband made that big decision for me. He quit his job back in Boston for me to come here to follow my acting dreams. I fall in love with Tyler Perry, Maria's stage play, and I say, you know what? If I come down here, I have a chance to work with the person that I love. And I told him that. He said, you know what? If that's what you want, I'll move down here. He quit his job back in Boston and moved down here with me. And it just, sometimes I apply for like an extra job in a studio. I can't even, I can't be an extra. I said, oh God, why?
Here's one of the biggest things. Here's one of the biggest things that's happening right now that is really killing me, is the fact that when she said this is where she wanted to be for this, I said, you know what, we'll make it happen, no worries. Because when she was going to acting school, pretty much
I feel like it's my fault that it's going through this.
I was working and then, no, I was working and she was going to school. No, that's not true. So she said she will be moving down here for the acting, to continue with that. I said, okay, no problem. But the thing is that, so we moved, I found a job, because I quit my job because they didn't want to give me a transfer. No biggie. So I found another job that would move me here. So we moved. But the problem is, when we came here, she was applying everywhere for acting job. Nothing was happening. Here's the crazy thing. Now that I'm sick, people are calling her and she can't even go. You see what I mean? People are calling her and she can't even go. Because she has to be in the house with me, she can't go. And I'm like, okay, really, God? Seriously? Now? And here's one more thing. The same day that we were at the hospital, the same day we found out I had cancer. That was the next day. She went to Bank of what's the name again?
Wells Fargo.
She went to Wells Fargo to do something. So this guy, they were just talking. And then she said, oh, back in Boston, I used to be a banker. I used to do this, that. And then the guy said, really? I said, yes. She said, well, they're hiring, why don't you? And then the guy went back and called the manager. And then the manager said, oh, my, she's from Boston, too. And then they started talking. She said, her experience and everything. She said, okay, give me your resume right now. Next day, we're going to have somebody call you. And she came back to the hospital. She said, you're not, I'm like, what happened? She said, I met these people. I'm like, I'm like, take it. She said, what do you mean? She said,
you just said, where I go, people fall in love with my personality. They like me and all that. It just, you have no idea what I'm going through. Nobody has no idea what I'm going through. And I'm scared of leaving him in the house by himself. Last Sunday, I went to the market. I said, I don't know what to give him. He doesn't like anything anymore. And he can't eat heavy stuff. I don't know what to do. And I went to the market to buy some spinach, some stuff for him. And when I come back, I find out he almost passed out. He was throwing up, he was in pain, and he almost passed. I said, oh God, when I come back. And his mother said, he told me that, baby, I thought I was gonna die. I said, how am I gonna leave him again? How am I gonna do it?
Usually when I'm going through pain and I'm throwing up, my mother, because her room is like very far from my bedroom, and she doesn't know what's happening because she doesn't come to my bedroom often. But that day, I had to call her because usually I'm just hiding in my own. And then that day, I didn't have any choice to call my mother for help because I honestly thought this was it. Because the pain one side, and I'm throwing nonstop, and it was like nonstop. I couldn't get up, I couldn't do anything. Then I called my mother, and then she came, and when she came, she saw the stage I was in. She just started crying herself and threw herself on the floor. I'm like, oh my God.
It's just like, not like I'm mad at the hospital, but the people, he's in a very bad condition. and they canceled the appointment that they had last week. And when we called, they said that they give him an appointment for like 2 weeks and 2 weeks again. I said, if I had money, and if you know, you just said, okay, I want this right now. I want this right now. It just, again, I don't know. I just don't know what to say. And my sister was making fun of me last week. She said, oh, thanks Tyler Perry. I said, what do you mean thanks Tyler Perry? He said, don't you move down here for Tyler Perry, right? You know, they don't want me to be.
But you know, I got to say this. As a man,
Tyler Perry.
as someone who believes in God, I truly believe that nothing happened without God's permission, authorization.
Yes.
And from my conversation with you, you believe that your being here is not just your decision. God sent you here for a special purpose. And I draw strength from the words that you said, that Fabrice said last week, and he says, God will heal me. It's just a matter of when. So now we have some friends in the audience, and I want to give them.
Actually,
we're running out of time. So we have some friends in the audience, and we want to say thank you for coming here this evening and support Fabrice and Joseph. As you can see, they make it easy for me to answer the next question. People asking me, why do I take such a strong stand to support this family? And after hearing them this evening, how could you not? How could you not? This is something that could have happened to me or to anyone else. So this is why I'm repeating this. We set up a trust fund, which is the Fabrice Joseph Trust Fund. You can go to any Bank of America and make your donation there. They need your support. They need your prayer. They need your assistance. So please go and support them. And I want to thank you guys for being here this evening. And I will continue to pray for you.
thank you.
And we'll be there for you. All the friends will be there for you and supporting you. You're not alone in this battle.
Thank you.
You're not alone. We're there for
Everybody
you.
wants
And
us
thank
to
you.
go back to Boston. You know, that's where my mom lives and my sisters. They want us to go back to Boston. My mom said, Tyler Perry is not working for you. Why don't you come back home? I said, Mama, I will stay here. Something will work out for me. I will stay right here and go through what I'm going through. And in the name of Jesus, I know
Amen.
we're going to go through this.
And I got to tell you,
Just before we go, I'd like to make this announcement. I know that people are wondering what's going to happen with the show. No, we are taking a break until I recover. I mean, I believe I will, you know. And just like Junelle said, God didn't bring us this far to just abandon us, you know. So we are putting a hold on the show, and once I get back on my 2 feet, we'll continue with the show.
All right.
And I thank you all, the fan, for being there for us and in every single way possible throughout this journey in the show. And no worries, you're gonna hear from me and through Facebook and even Twitter. So once again, thank you very much for everything you guys have been doing. God bless you.
Thank you, Fabrice. Thank you, Junelle. Thank you, friends. And we're very happy to have you here. And good evening, everyone. And I'll see you next time.